Okay, so today we are going to measure out and plan our air skimmer. Here's our plan, and you'll notice that we are going to cut 4 pieces: a main body panel, 2 fins, and an air scoop. The measurements are here. These are not true to life, but they are scaled. So we're going to start by creating an 11-inch by 4-inch rectangle. All of the solid lines are cut lines, and all of the dotted lines will become fold lines. So let's begin. You're going to start out with a file folder that looks like this. You'll need a ruler, a pencil, and probably an eraser. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to hold our ruler even on the edge of the paper, and we're going to just draw a line. Okay, this will be the top of our 11 by 4-inch rectangle. Okay, this will be a cut line. We don't need this, so we're going to put an X there. Okay, I'm going to turn my folder around, and I know that it needs to be 11 inches this way and 4 inches wide. So to get the 4 inches, I'm going to line up the 0 on the edge, and I'm going to put a little mark at 4 inches, and I'm going to do that somewhere else on the line, holding it at the 0 and 4 inches. Make sure that you are starting at the 0, not the end of the ruler, okay? Once I've got those 2 points, I can draw a line between them. Okay, and then we're just going to double check to make sure that this is indeed 4 inches, and it is. And we'll check here too, just to make sure it is. Okay, so our instructions tell us that we need to have 4 inches in this direction, 11 in this direction. So we'll do the same thing. We'll go to the edge of the paper, we'll line up the 0, and we'll mark it at 11 inches. We'll do that in 2 places. So I'm lining up the 0, and I'm marking it at 11 inches. Okay, once I have that, I could draw a line between those 2 dots. And I don't need this, so I'm going to put an X there. Okay, so now I have the basic shape of my main body. You'll notice that 3 inches from the left edge, I have a dotted line. And then you'll notice that 1/2 of an inch from each end, I have a solid line to the dotted line, and then a dotted line all the way across. Remember, the dotted lines are fold lines, and the solid lines are cut lines. So let's come back to our paper. Okay, so I'm going to measure over 3 inches. Okay, I always do it in 2 places so that I can make sure that my line is nice and straight. Okay, I find it easier to turn my paper up. Something looks off. Let's remeasure that. So I'm coming here to 3 inches. I'm a little off on there. And I'm coming over here to 3 inches right there. So these are the lines, the dots that I'm going to connect. Okay, remember, this is a dotted line, and it's not all the way to the edge of the paper. So I'm going to draw a dotted line. I could draw a solid line and then use my eraser to make it a dotted line. Okay, back to the plan. 1/2 inch down, 1/2 inch up. Solid to the dotted line, dotted to the right. So let's measure 1/2 inch, measuring, lining it up on the 0. You're going to go to 1/2 inch here. We'll go to the edge of the paper here, 1/2 inch here, and we'll make one more just to be safe because this is a really long line. 1/2 inch here. Okay, so remember to line up your dots. Okay, and we're going to draw this as a solid line. Okay, but everything to the right needs to be dotted, so I'll just take my eraser and I'll change that into a dotted line. This dotted line is a fold line. We're going to do the same thing on the bottom of the page. So I'll hold my ruler like this, and I'm just going to use any inch marking and come over a 1/2 inch. So I started at the 3 and I went to the left a 1/2 inch. And I'll do it in one more spot. So 3 1/2 inch. Okay, again, I'm going to draw my straight line. And it's solid on the left. It will become dotted on the right. Make sure when you're drawing your lines, you hold your ruler so it doesn't wiggle all over the place. Okay, so this is my main body panel. This will be the top of it, and the top needs to be decorated. Okay, this is the back. The back does not need to be decorated. Okay, so back to the plan. I need to create 2 fins. Notice that if I use an edge of the paper, I have 1 less cut line. So it needs to be 3 inches up and 3 inches over. So we're going to start by creating a 3 by 3 square. We're going to come over a 1/2 inch and up a 1/2 inch and draw the diagonal. So I'm going to use, oops, I need to erase one more little bit here. Okay, I'm going to use this as one of my cut lines. So I'm going to come over here 3 inches, and it should line up with my dotted line. And I'm going to come over here 3 inches, and that should line up with my dotted line. Okay, and then I'm going to come down 3 inches. Remember, I always do this in 2 places. So 3 inches and 3 inches. When you're doing this, I would highly recommend using either a mechanical pencil or a pencil that has a really nice sharp edge. Okay, so let's draw this straight line here. I'm going to kind of eyeball it and bring it to about the 3 inch mark. Okay, then we're going to draw this line here. Okay, lining up my marks that I made previously. And now I have a 3 by 3 inch square. Okay, so the instructions tell me to come over a 1/2 inch and up a 1/2 inch. So I'm going to line up my 0. I'm going to make a mark right on that line at a 1/2 inch. I'm going to line up my 0, and I'm going to make a mark right here for my 1/2 inch. And where those dots are, I'm going to draw my rectangle, or excuse me, my diagonal. Okay, so I'm going to line them up. Okay, this is the part I don't need, so I'm going to put an X. I could put the other fin on the other side, and that way I already have a cut line and a cut line taken care of. So a cut line and a cut line. So let's move this over and do the same thing. So I'm going to measure down 3 inches, and I'm going to measure down again 3 inches. Just going to flip it this way, and I'm going to measure to the right 3 inches, and again another 3 inch mark. Okay, this is a cut line, this is a cut line, and let's draw my other 2 cut lines. So I'm going to draw a 3 by 3 inch square. Whoops. Just like this. Okay, I'm going to draw this one backwards, so a mirror of this. So I came over a 1/2 inch and up a 1/2 inch. I'm going to come over a 1/2 inch and, oops, I'm going to come over a 1/2 inch this way, and I'm going to come up a 1/2 inch this way. So I'm just going to line it up on the 1 and make a mark at 1 1/2. Okay, I could line it up at the 0 too. That would work. Oh, actually, I want to put it on the other side. Whoops. I guess it doesn't matter. I'll do it here. Okay, so I'm going to come over a 1/2 inch right here. We're going to disregard that. And we're going to come up a 1/2 inch. So I'll line up the one, come to a 1/2 inch. And then where I put those 2 markings, I'm going to put a diagonal. And I want to try to get my measurements as close to accurate as I can. This is the part of the fin I need. This is the part I don't need. For the fins, you're going to need to decorate both sides. So the front and the back. Don't worry about decorating the back until we've gotten to part 2 where we cut everything out.